podcast you listen, The Flash. This is the first time I think that
Yes.
this is the first time I think that we've ever seen a movie that like I've seen it a few days after you've seen it.
I had a coworker who listened, maybe he's still listening to the show, maybe he isn't, I don't know. He went to the Cocaine Bear episode because he'd seen that, and he was like, why were you doing all the talking? Like, I was the one that seen it. That's why.
I've still not
Like the Gladiators episode.
I've yet to see Cocaine Bear. I'm telling you right now, I've yet to see it. So
fast forward to where Scott Seiss gets destroyed.
The Amazon guy, you said.
The IKEA guy.
IKEA guy.
Yes.
I didn't even know that was a thing. IKEA guy. Like there's a commercial.
Well, I think he's in a furniture store in his whatever TikTok videos.
Mm-hmm.
Where it goes doon 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 doon, like the eerie music. He's been doing more, I think.
Dude, on this video.
He likes to forget that he wished people to die right after the pandemic, and now he wants to come back and feels like, hey, everything's okay again.
I think it's funny
shit
that on this picture, your microphone is showing Michael Keaton's face right next to your face, like it's like kind of in the whole area. So what shirt are you wearing there? What shirt is that?
It's new Michael Keaton. I won the
League of America.
Justice League, yeah. It's got Batman and Flash on it.
I got my Batman shirt on.
All right. Yeah, I couldn't there was one cool one that kind of had a Batman logo on it, popping out, but then I figured Flash was on this one.
I got that Batman shirt from Target. Like I think I want to say it was almost 10 years ago. I still have it though. I love Batman shirt.
Not shopping with him now, but 10 years ago.
10 years ago, I don't buy shirts from Target anymore. I've moved up in the world. I've become a mature adult. I no longer buy. What is the brand of Target? It's like, brand. I can't remember their name brand, but it was like
dying. So if you hear me coughing occasionally, it's congestion.
Are we still
me dying? You listen.
He sick. You listen. That's why we had to release this today because he was sick. And when he's sick, we don't have
this week.
We don't have a me podcast, you listen. We just have me podcast or you listen. There's not one or the other. So
we don't talk. You don't listen.
So I saw this movie 4 days ago. I know nothing about the Flash. I know nothing about. I never was a Flash. What do you call it? A Flash character. I never watched, even during Super Friends. I don't think I even
Flash fan. You were not a.
I didn't give a shit about the Flash, and he runs fast. That's all I remember. And it's like, so what? It's just like.
Have you
eats a lot?
You've never seen the CW series?
No, my son watched it religiously, and I don't know if this is the same character. Is this the same character from Flash?
It's Barry Allen.
CW series.
Yeah, actually, Ezra Miller appeared as an alternate version of him in the Crisis episode, which was kind of like the celebration of the multiverse and basically in comics a lot. The Crisis is used a lot in DC Comics, and they actually had Ezra Miller. That's what was so shocking that they didn't even. I mean, as far as we know, we don't know the full details. They never even asked Grant Gustin, which is his name in the TV series, the actor who portrays Barry Allen in there, and they didn't even ask John Wesley Shipp. Like, how the hell do you have a cameo of the Jay Garrick version of the Flash in a multiverse, which is so random to most fans? That's, obviously we'll get into this later, the cameos, but you can't put a picture of John Wesley Shipp running or Grant Gustin running. It's like, we've talked to, handful of fans and they thought that was just BS, that you're going to write this movie and you're not going to write a brief cameo. You can't make time for a brief cameo for the arguably two of the most popular, or the only popular versions of the Flash pre the Justice League movie. It's kind of ridiculous to most DC fans, I would say, would agree.
So let's get into this.
So I'm taking it you never seen the John Wesley Shipp Flash TV series from 1990 either.
No.
Were you around
why
in
would
1990?
Why would no? I wasn't. I wasn't
busting heads in the football
I wasn't
field or the
I
comedy
wasn't
stage.
watching. I wasn't watching television much in the 90s. I was doing other things. So, and I never watched.
And back I was about to in Phoenix, Arizona.
and back
of people that try to get in.
Well, back in the day too is think about the 90s. You weren't able to. You had to record it on VHS or something if you wanted to see stuff. So think about that. That's
true.
So you didn't get to go back and see these things. You had to buy the video or you had to record it. So I didn't.
Yeah, and TV series too. This is funny to speak about that and really show our age here. DVDs, VHS, even VHS of a whole series would be definitely unheard of at that point. So you're right. I mean, unless Flash reached syndication, I think it was on CBS originally.
That's the thing.
Unless it was reaching syndication, you're not going to see any even replays probably of it.
No. So I didn't see any of the Flash. The only thing I remember the Flash as a kid, Flash Gordon from what was
zooming
that?
On
but see, let's get into that since you're the comic book nerd.
Sure.
Flash Gordon and the Flash.
Flash Gordon.
What are the differences?
Well, you might even be able to tell me more about Flash. Flash Gordon is I thought that was, I don't know if he started in comics or a TV serial way back in the day. I don't know if he predated the original Flash, but he was the sci-fi what do you call him, sci-fi hero maybe. They got US astronaut or something, or football player got stranded.
The football player from the Jets
planet. Yeah,
he was a football player from the Jets.
Are you talking about strictly the movie Flash Gordon movie?
I don't have any idea who the hell Flash Gordon is, but let's say the Flash.
But you've seen Flash Gordon, the movie.
I know Flash is, but Flash Gordon, is that a comic book?
Flash. Flash.
Yeah, but is Flash Gordon a comic book character?
Well, he's been that's the thing. I'm not a Flash Gordon. I could tell you as much as I know about Flash, a DC Comics character, but Flash Gordon, the only thing that he shares in common, maybe with Barry Allen Flash, Wally West Flash, all the versions of DC Comics Flash, Jay Garrick Flash, would be Flash and maybe a lightning bolt in his logo.
So,
but Flash, pretty much there is no similarities to my knowledge other than that.
Flash Gordon, according to Wikipedia, is a protagonist of a space adventure comic strip created by the originally drawn by Alex Raymond, first published. So it has nothing to do with DC or Marvel or anything. Right? Just like Popeye and all of the things. So these things were all just created they were just a comic book during the comic book era. So I'm assuming that they just created Flash Gordon. Now, everybody knows Flash Gordon, the movie, is the best movie out there, according to when you see it in Ted. But I made my kids watch Flash Gordon, and I looked like I was holding them hostage to watch that movie. They were just like, this is horrible. And I'm like, it is horrible.
Someone there is a rage watching Flash fan, like, what the fuck are you talking about, Flash Gordon? I want to talk about Michael Keaton.
No, we don't want to get to that. We're not getting into the movie yet. This is the teaser. So we're getting into
our thumbnail is going to show Michael Keaton at the forefront.
I want this
with your face.
I'm going to change my face.
Nobody wants to talk.
No, I'm going to change my face to this guy. I'm going to pull it up for you because I think this is who I want. I almost
finished the thumbnail before we recorded.
Oh, really? But anyways, Flash Gordon.
We'll still use it no matter what.
Flash Gordon and Flash the movie, or Flash the superhero, obviously are two different characters.
Of course, yeah. That's its own episode.
That's Flash
just like
Gordon.
I will watch Bodyguard.
We should do
we need to
should
review
do
that on its
me
own.
Bodyguard, you listen, and me Flash Gordon, and you listen, because we should show both of those. We should review both of those. So if you never seen it, Flash Gordon is out there in the 1980s version. Go watch it. It's the best movie out there. You've seen the highlight of it during Ted, the movie, so we know exactly. All right, back to the movie. So
yeah,
I'll tell you my thoughts of the movie. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was decent. I had a big buildup. I was excited to see Michael Keaton Batman, and I was disappointed on what exactly I was seeing, because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought he was going to have more of a role in this. I thought he was going to. Yeah, I thought Michael,
the Keaton version, you thought would have a bigger role.
Because
I thought he would have less. I was actually impressed by how much he was in there.
One of the comics said that they thought Flash was their newest favorite Batman movie. So I expected to see more Batman. The Flash having dual characters and all that kind of crap was interesting. A lot of towards the end, it got kind of stupid with them running backwards, trying to change time. But then it made sense. The character that was in the movie that was like the evil guy and all this stuff, like his evil self and all this crap that was going on. Interesting. I really just don't know what Flash's superpowers are, other than he just runs fast. Correct?
Well, yeah, he's so fast he could travel back in time. So obviously a lot of people don't know that he can breach the sound barrier, go speed of light. He could go back in time. He's became progressively more powerful over the years, to the fact that they've used that as a plot device. They used it in the Justice League Snyder Cut. Thus why he went back in time, saved them basically from Darkseid incinerating them, if I'm remembering that right. And they just explored that. It was about maybe over 10 years ago now. Well, I think well over that, when they reset the DC universe. They kind of did an alternate comic book that basically had him go back to in the comics, his mom is killed by a villain called the Reverse Flash. So he goes back in time to prevent this, and he has to stop the Reverse Flash from doing so. And even before that, I think maybe she was just killed. Maybe it wasn't the Reverse Flash. So
what's Reverse Flash?
So the Reverse Flash was a Flash fan that came, in the future, I think, came to hate him just because of he could never be the hero Flash was. So he recreated the accident. So basically he wears a yellow suit, and a lot of people wanted him in this film, not the Dark Flash. But if you watch the Flash TV series with Grant Gustin, pretty much the first season, predominantly the villain is the Reverse Flash. So you pretty much would get the gist of kind of how much he hates Barry and stuff. I would highly suggest at least the first 4 seasons of Flash on the CW. If you can get your hands on those are really good. It shows his kind of progression, his powers. He has been shown to go back in time. He could vibrate through objects. There's a lot of things, create tornadoes, spinning so fast. So
my speed, obviously, my son sat there with me when he did the whole vibration through the walls.
That's normal for Flash.
My God. He did it. And I'm like, did what? I don't understand what he was doing. It was just when he got the beer. When he got the beers. Like, I get it, what he's doing, but I don't know. I didn't know if this was supposed to be like the background of the Flash. What are we watching? Like, how did he become Flash? I don't know if this movie was supposed to give us I don't know. I really don't know the point of this movie, other than it's the Flash and he runs back in time. And so
one of the problems, I'll try to abbreviate this best I can. One of the problems that people have had with the DC universe, and it's hard for me being a huge DC fan over the years. I know the history of it, but like someone like you or just a casual fan, you don't know really the Flash's origin, where he's from. So if you're just trying to jump ahead to your Justice League, and Justice League is the pinnacle, not the Avengers. I'm sorry. Even X-Men's better than Avengers. But if you're trying in the movie universe to reach the level of the Avengers from Marvel, it's the truth, man. The Justice League came first. even the Justice Society predates everything. Yes. But when it comes
Justice Society, for who can forget about that? How do we know
everybody? Apparently,
what the hell is the Justice?
That was the Justice League before the Justice League. That was before everybody.
Justice everything.
So essentially, they tried to jump the gun. Hey, let's just try to get the Justice League out there before establishing all these lower tier heroes. If anything Marvel did right was they just had the benefit of just having their own timeline and going on Iron Man, Captain America, and then form their Avengers and so on and so forth. So Justice League, Warner Brothers, probably not their best ideas. They just tried to get to the Justice League quicker than they probably should have. So in theory, or an example here with the Flash movie, they're trying to tell his origin, try to tell a Flashpoint story, which is where he goes back in time, mucks everything up, and the whole universe has changed. So this used to be called Flashpoint in pre-production, and they went back to the Flash title. And I think to kind of save this movie, anytime you put Batman heavy in anything, whether it's DC, it's gonna, usually catch people's attention. Now, I think the problem with this movie going in and why people feel it's bombed, or depending on expectations of the movie, is Ezra Miller, the actor who's playing the Flash, got into a lot of legal scuffles and mumbo jumbo. So this movie is suffering, I think, because of the actor who plays the Flash. It's certainly not because of Michael Keaton, because as goofy as the script is, and I have my own problems with that up until where kind of Keaton debuts in the film, like the baby saving scene, the shit with there's some other goofy shit I'm not thinking of right now either. Everything up until basically he talks to Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne and says, "Hey, I could change things. I could save my mom." And then Bruce tells him, you could also screw up everything. When he does do that, I think when the movie hits its stride, gets really good. There are obviously some flaws still in it, but I think for the most part, you got just the ultimate Batman. I don't know if this could still be the best Batman movie. You have the best version of Batman when you're talking smartest, most formidable. I mean, outside of maybe the BVS, Batman versus Superman's warehouse scene, Keaton's kicking ass in this film. So if you love Michael Keaton's Batman from Batman 89 and Batman Returns, this is him evolved to his pinnacle. Like, he explains the multiverse theory and how Flash was dumb enough to fuck it up, because once he goes back in time, he was explaining the spaghetti, you're fucking up your own past, because now your strand of spaghetti is changed. So it's not just a fucking branch like Marvel, I think, in their explanation was doing, like everything's branching off. Keaton's explaining your past is changing with it. So your ripples, your time ripples. So you explain that Keaton's super smart, still a badass. Once he gets cleaned up, he looks like a hobo at first, almost beating the shit out of both Flashes at the beginning. And then, they go and save what they thought was Superman, and ends up being Supergirl. And that's where shit really hits the fan. But I mean, even when obviously, spoiler, we've been talking about it from the beginning. So if you haven't seen this movie and don't want to be spoiled, you should just come back later. But pretty much before he dies, the 2 times they show him die, he's not going out like a bitch either. He's going out like fucking, he's taking out the ship. He's blowing the head off of the fucking Kryptonian giant. So the guy's a badass in the whole film. So, I mean, even if you didn't like Ezra Miller, you didn't like Flat, I want to see this, support them. For Michael Keaton alone, and for Batman fans alone, I would see this film in the theaters or buy it, whatever the hell you got to do, because this is ultimate Batman. And
how long do you think this is
for me? I would run.
How long do you think it's going to be in the theaters? I give it the end of the month. I think it gets released on HBO.
It's bombing pretty bad because of the Ezra Miller thing, I think, and like I said, there's some goofy shit. Like they're trying to rip off the Quicksilver slow motion thing, and I just feel like that was so dumb. They shouldn't even have went that route. And the stuff with the fans and the candy bar, Flash, yeah, throws the candy bar his head. That is so stupid. And it's the same writer, I believe, if not that Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey bullcrap. That first 40 minutes of that film was the worst DC comic book movie I could imagine. So the fact that I believe the lady who wrote that, I remember her name, Christina, whatever. She wrote that, and that 40 minutes was bad. Maybe this is her formula of her films. So I don't know if it's 40 minutes before this gets good, but there's a lot of cheese and a lot of like, I don't know how many people get involved in these films, but like nobody is going to tell somebody who's prominent in this film, hey, man, this is pretty cheesy. This is pretty stupid. Like, can you not wait till the test screens to get somebody in power in these films to say, yeah, this is probably going to make most comic book fans cringe. Like, I don't give a shit what type of humor you're trying to throw in it. You know, if you ask any hardcore comic or DC fan and you show them the beginning of this film, this is kind of stupid. So if you get past that, get to the point where he goes back in time and he starts, you know, even that's a little goofy because now there's two Ezra Millers. One of them's more annoying than the other. And if you really think he's annoying to begin with, now you got to deal with two of them. Once he gets to, oh, I got to find, is there a Bruce Wayne in this universe? Shit is hitting the fan when they go to Wayne Manor. Or do you freaking buy a DVD or Blu-ray, whatever, skip to when he goes to Wayne Manor? The movie is
You
badass.
want someone to just skip the movie they purchase. You just got to.
They're not going to do that.
Just deal with the movie. Now, let me ask you. They kind of left the story wide open when he was going to be dating that girl and he left. And then I don't think they ever finished with that. I don't think he ever came back to dating that girl.
There was a note. There was a note, I think.
That was it.
She left.
She left. That was it. So I don't know if they're leaving that open for things. What did you think about Supergirl? I thought she was pretty cool.
I thought she actually was pretty cool. I'm a traditionalist. I like the characters to look who like they're supposed to look like. I don't give a shit what race, gender, whatever. I don't really care. I just want them to mirror what they are in a comic. So if they're blonde in a comic, I want make them blonde. But I get it. This is an alternate universe. She's supposed to be like just female Superman.
I thought she was badass. I didn't think she was like the.
She was cool.
The Billie Jean girl that they had before when they keep showing the side by side. The Billie Jean, the girl that played Billie Jean, I can't remember her name, but she was in the movie Billie Jean.
Helen Slater from the Supergirl movie.
She was like the TV show. What was the Was it Supergirl?
Oh, are you talking about Melissa Benoist from the TV show?
Yeah,
she was from Glee or whatever that.
She didn't look.
Whatever that show.
No, this girl looked badass. She looked like a fighter. Like she was gonna kick people's ass. I like the whole setup that way. I thought.
People were thinking like she would be like. Hopefully she would become Supergirl in the new universe. I'm like,
I didn't even know she was I didn't know she was even Supergirl. They gave her a different name, like her name from Krypton or whatever. So
Kara Zor-El. Yeah, that's true. A lot of some of these movies, they like in the Batman, did they ever call her Catwoman? I mean, that's happened in multiple Batman films. So some of these idiots involved with these films, like, you call her Catwoman. It's so cheesy. Fucking name is Catwoman, all right? That's in a comic. That's what sells. That's the marketing. The character's beloved by millions of fans. Just call her Catwoman. It doesn't matter if you think it's the stupidest name ever. Know your audience and call the character Catwoman. Call her Supergirl. She's Supergirl. That's what she is. Even though she was like Superwoman in this. This was more closer to maybe Superwoman, but
right.
Yeah, I think she was a highlight of the film. I agree. After Keaton, I think she was badass. I think how they portrayed her origin was very similar to how in Flashpoint, which I was talking about earlier, that was the alternate universe after Flash fucks up the timeline when he goes back to save his mom in the comics. Superman was basically abducted by the government and he was withered away. They basically used that version of Superman here, just made him a girl, basically made him his cousin essentially. And there is teasings of that in the Man of Steel movie. There's an empty pod. I don't know people that realize that's a little bit of an Easter egg when Clark Kent and Kal-El's in the ship in Man of Steel the movie. There is a pod that's open, and that's supposed to basically be a clue that Supergirl's out there, like for people who know, like, or they would think there's another Kryptonian out there, but it's obviously Supergirl. But that was the kind of clue they kind of tied it into the universe that she would exist in the Snyderverse somewhere too, which was the universe this was basically ending because the Zack Snyder's Justice League, all that stuff, I think, is gone after this movie, essentially.
Did you like the part where they showed Nicolas Cage as the Superman character when they were going backwards? That was pretty funny because he never was Superman. That was always like a thought that
that was but here's the thing. When you hear of all the cameos, they said they could have had Linda Carter in there and the other stuff. Would I rather have seen a Linda Carter cameo than Nicolas Cage Superman? Then I would say yes, because
what did you think about all the cameos?
Really need to see that
much. I mean,
I thought it was
this movie had to cost buku bucks to bring all these people in.
They claim that wasn't the reason. They said time constraints. But you're going to spend all this time on this fucker looking at his watch, calorie counting while they throw a candy bar in his head, or putting a baby in the microwave and saving a dog and 300 falling babies off the hospital. And you're going to put all that stupid shit in the film. And you can't make time to put Linda Carter, Wonder Woman in there, or Grant Gustin Flash, or Jay Garrick, John Wesley Shipp's Flash, or original Flash. You can't tell me if it is money. Let's just say you're right. Say it's money, but I don't think it was money. I think somebody was stupid, and they always think they're smarter than the audience. Put what people want to see in these films. Like, there wasn't enough cameos in the film. Yeah, I would have been fine with Nicholas. I mean, I was fine with it, whatever, Nicolas Cage, but put more cameos in there. Like, do we need to see if as long as we did, we had to show the spider and everything like it was some sort of inside joke? Like, whatever, man. I mean, maybe a little less cheese and put a few more cameos in it. And
so nobody's going to care. So I'm assuming just overall, you didn't like this movie.
I liked it from Michael. I liked it from a standpoint of I enjoyed Michael Keaton's Batman. I enjoyed it probably from the point they run into him. I think before that, I was like, this movie is really stupid. I hate to say that because I came in probably with way too high expectations, but they did that to themselves. They used Tom Cruise. They used that dipshit fucking Stephen King too. I don't give a fuck about that guy. Whoever they could get to endorse the film. Hey, this is a great movie. Go see this movie. Whoever the hell they're getting to do that, basically, essentially, they were hyping the film. So whoever they'd show the film to early, they would hype up the film, and then essentially, I guess this is going to deliver the goods. So I think when you go into it and about how many minutes it is into the film, and he still hasn't ran into Keaton's Batman, you're like, you got two Ezra Millers who was already on shaky ground as it is. They couldn't use him to promote the film because he was in legal troubles, and I don't think we have to go into that on this podcast, but whatever trouble he was in and stupid things he was doing, that's obviously hurt this film. You should have got to the shit people wanted to see. And I mean, I stand by that. It is very tough to get through up until the Keaton stuff for me, and I'm a hardcore DC fan. I just thought it was cheese. I thought if you got an actor that a lot of people dislike as it is going in, I could give two shits about the guy.
This is like your second movie. This is like your second movie you've seen where you said it's really cheesy. So maybe you're just getting older and you just don't understand the side of it, where they're trying to reach out to the younger audience to make this fun.
Guardians was good. And
you said Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was too cheesy.
I didn't say Guardians was too cheesy.
3. Was it 3?
The 2 was bad. 3 was fine.
Maybe I'm thinking we should go back to that podcast.
You didn't like 3.
Probably review. No, I didn't like.
You should.
I don't like any of them.
I think we just.
I wanted to see Batista with his shirt off, and he didn't do it, and so I tuned out right away. I'm like, "Where's the muscles?" I'm all into muscles.
Batista was on his way out. He didn't want to do the film again, nor did
I'm taking my shirt off. That's all it is. Don't ask me to take my shirt off. So
nor did Saldana didn't want to do it. So they were gone from before the even movie started.
So, anyways, I think the movie was entertaining. I don't think it's worth seeing.
You didn't think that shit was cheesy?
All the
stupid
time.
Beginning with the
all the time
fucking babies falling and
that part I thought was stupid, but then I thought this is
girls yelling flash throws a candy bar at his head.
But see,
it's fucking dumb.
This is the part that I think stupid. This is the part though that I think that the audience out there, the social media audience and all those people want to see. So I tried to be open-minded.
It bombed, dude.
But
I
my
don't know if they
son,
really
my
want to see this.
23-year-old son, our 25-year-old son sat next to me and loved it. So I don't know. That's the audience. Those are the people that pay for this. So the thing about
obviously there's not enough of your sons out there right now
as soon as he
to
went,
help this film.
as soon as he did this and sat there all like, and then they threw the candy bar, I thought, this is going to be one of those stupid movies where this is not like dark at all. Like the Batman movie was just recently reviewed, or I recently with the dude from Twilight. None of this stuff is going to make, it's going to be comical and goofy. And I knew that from the start when he was like, and then went, and I thought, that's it. That's the movie. And then when he saved all the babies, now I'm surprised no one said shit about the microwave, putting a baby in a microwave. So I'm surprised no one
was
freaked out about that kind of crap. But
that was fucking disturbing, yeah.
And then the microwave dinged, bing, like it was like just
yeah.
It's not even plugged in.
Was it on?
Oh, why is it?
Was it on? What the fuck was going on? Why did it have to ding? Did he just put timer?
It would have been funny if he came out and the baby's all sizzling. And I was like, oops. It just got all dark all of a sudden. Holy shit, this movie got dark.
Hey, he changed time and the baby turns into just charcoal.
Then he had to go back and save the baby. He had to run. He does his little running backwards to make sure the baby doesn't go.
Batman changes immediately. What did you think of the end with different Batman at the end? Obviously, we're spoiling the film, but what did you think of Clooney appearing?
George Clooney showed up. Funny. Again, this was all supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean,
this is like Back to the Future in DC version. That's all I kept saying when they kept referring to Back to the Future and they're referring to different characters are now in it.
Yeah, Eric Stoltz says.
I kept thinking, this is it. This is why this movie is like Back to the Future. He's going back and he's changing time. And then,
yeah, like all that shit with his roommates again. Like, oh, what the fuck? What do you mean? Kevin Bacon was in Top Gun, or Michael J. Fox in Footloose. I mean,
yeah, and I mean again.
I know what you're saying.
And then you're throwing that out to an audience of people saying Michael J. Fox is who. So you're reaching out to a whole wide range of ages when you go back into the 80s version. And that guy is not even old enough to be in that era to be saying that all these guys are like, this is how the movies are now. He's not even old enough to be that person. So I had to really just get rid of all reality in this movie and just watch the movie. And I was 2.5 hours. I had to pee twice because I'm older. And I had to get up and walk around for a minute because the chairs were uncomfortable. I was hurting my ass. And I've been doing a lot of bike riding. Been doing a lot of bike riding.
Probably missed something good.
My ass. No, I missed the beginning because my son was late. So I didn't see the very beginning. I started right where you talked about, where he's out there running in the street and the candy bar hits him in the head.
So we didn't miss anything but cheese.
So again, I think the movie itself had potential to be funny. It's funny. I'm surprised that people don't like it. It's gotten 7.5 out of 10 for the IMDb, and it's 89% in Rotten Tomatoes. So I figured it's probably just an average movie. People were probably disappointed. The amount of cameos. This is me. This is my theory on movies like Fast and Furious 10 and all these movies. When you have to just sprinkle as many people that are celebrities into a movie, the movie's going to be shit. So Michael Keaton coming back as Batman, and when they did the previews of Batman, the Flash, they showed him, you knew damn well that they were hooking everybody who was in their 50s on down. They were hooking you right away saying, oh, I'm fucking seeing that movie. And Michael Keaton was only in it for probably 25% of the movie. And although he stole the movie because he's Michael Keaton.
Yeah, he easily stole it. Yeah.
He wasn't in it enough for me to sit there and say, shit, I thought he was in there more. I thought he was going to, because when Ben Affleck showed up and I thought, what the fuck is this? I thought how is this going to go? Is this going to be like the Spider-Man version where everything's different? There's different Spider-Mans.
Oh, 33 at the same time and all that
then
shit.
All of a sudden I'm like, oh, he's going back in time. So now we're seeing Michael Keaton. And then I thought when Michael Keaton showed up in long hair and looking like a wilderness man, I thought, oh, this is fucked up. I thought he was going to be like Batman. And then he shaves and gets all trimmed up.
Wouldn't it have been hilarious if it turns out and that was Michelle Pfeiffer kicking the shit out of the ones?
That would have been funny, right? If Michelle Pfeiffer would have showed up as Catwoman.
Yeah, that would have been hysterical. Kicking the shit out of him.
Here comes Danny DeVito as the Penguin. That would have been funny. And all of a sudden, just the whole movie just transforms back into the 80s Batmans.
Penguin was dead, but like if you would have had Keaton walk in normally.
Knows we're going back in time.
You want to get nuts? Well, it's true. It might have changed their fates.
Jim Carrey showing up. Why don't you just fucking bring in everybody from every movie possible? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Jim Carrey was never in that technical. Well, I mean, he used to say it was a same universe, but
they could have brought in Iceman, Batman, and then they would have been like, "What the fuck happened to him?" And he's like, "I got a little problem in my throat."
Stick around. What the fuck did he say? Chill out. That's fucking dumb fuck, Mr. Freeze Arnold. That was so fucking cheesy.
So
chill out, you fuckers, chill out.
So the whole thing was just an attempt to do something with it. And again, it's going to reach the audience that it's supposed to reach, which is my son. And they're going to talk about it and it's going to rehash it. But I think it was just an entertaining movie. I'm not going to chalk it up to some kind of big, great DC movie out there. I think Michael Keaton Batman setting him up.
Not anywhere close to anybody that tell you that's close to the Dark Knight. Get the fuck out of here.
But this
not
is
anywhere close to the Dark Knight.
This is setting up though. Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice is going to start coming out, and that's going to put him on the map again. He's going to make some money on these shows. So
the rumor is that they'd want him to do Batman Beyond, which is a cartoon that you might not be familiar with. I don't know if you remember that it was the first animated show that was post Batman animated series, and basically had old Batman with a younger guy that ends up eventually being explained that had his DNA in him, that they actually made him this he was an offshoot of Bruce Wayne's DNA, essentially, is, and that was a cartoon in the, I want to say, late 90s, and that Keaton could play old Batman if they ever decided to do a live action version of that movie.
Batman. Old man Batman. Hello, kiddies. You want to get crazy?
Batman Beyond.
So
I think you summed it up perfectly, though. Yeah, you're right. The cameos, using Keaton as much as they did in the trailer, essentially tricked you to go see it, which is probably what they really wanted. But if we could trick enough millions of people to go see it, then they won't realize till it's too late now. Half of this movie is sure shit.
Yeah, it's just something I'm not interested in, but I am gonna suggest that if you can watch Sunny in Philadelphia, the new season. So far,
I need to start watching that.
The first 3 episodes are fucking hilarious. So
I'll have to watch that.
Actually, two out of the 3 are funny. The first one and the third one. The second one's but they're pretty funny.
Okay.
So
all right, I'll have to watch.
You'll
that.
like them. All right.
Plug.
Me podcast. You listen. The Flash review. I'm not a big movie reviewer.
So what did you say out of 10? What would you give this film?
I'd give it a 7. I thought it was all right. Just agreeing with everybody else. It's probably
I think I did between 3 to 4. I think for a 10 scale, maybe 6 to 7. It's well worth watching. Don't get me wrong. It's just a lot of cheese, and if you get past the cheese at the beginning, even the end of the film, I think they did some post-credit scenes, showed Aquaman in there, and they tried to explain maybe Aquaman 2, which is coming out later this year. He was just a fucking joking, and I'm like, this was stupid.
We're wrapping this up. You're so long.
I know.
All right. Bring your crackers to the movies, according to MC. Bring your crackers because you're going to get served some cheese. Me podcast. You listen. Make sure you subscribe before we get cut off. Do everything you're supposed to do, and then also check out our next episode.